was just really hoping, the introduction was going to take too longer because my laptop started acting funny. Yes, but I'm glad all of that has been sorted. So, um, permit me to just share my screen and then we begin. Oh dear. Okay, sorry, please just give me a moment. I don't know why it's taking a while. Okay. Amazing. Please, if you can see my screen, can you just drop an emoji if you can see my screen? Yes. Okay. So once again, good evening, every Learn family and every other person that is just joining us for the first time. For the first time today, as as I was introduced, my name is Glory Adigizi, and I'll be your facilitator for tonight. And as you can rightly see on my screen, what we are considering tonight is the top 5 digital skills to monetize in 2026. And now, before I go um, into what we have for tonight, I just want to give a brief introduction about tonight's class, the top 5 digital skills. And while at the top of my head, I can easily just list out the skills for you, content creation, social media marketing, virtual assistants, community manager, graphics and video editing and all of that. While I could just list all of that off the top of my head, I mean, you already know all that. So if that was the only reason we're going to gather here tonight, then there would be no need to have this webinar. But I just want to bring to our notice, many of us, or rather to our remembrance, many of us are familiar with artificial intelligence, AI, how AI is how AI is radically changing, the economy, not just the digital economy, but the economy at large. AI is doing wonders, great wonders. And I don't know about you, but so many times it almost seems as if when you turn left, right, and center, it almost seems like AI is going to replace you. A lot of people say if you don't catch up with AI, it's going to take your job, it's going to replace you, and all of that. While that may be true to a certain extent, it's not completely true because AI is only going to replace those who do not leverage AI. That means if you are a content writer like me or a social media manager like me, and all you know how to do is, all you know how to do is manual stuff, brainstorming yourself, trying to figure out things yourself and all of that, you are not integrating artificial intelligence into what you are doing, then I'm sorry to say that you fall into the category of people who AI is going to replace. However, on the other hand, people who master or or in mid-level are able to use and understand AI tools are the ones who can not only upskill or power up the current digital skills that they already have, but they're also going to scale in the market. In 2023, 2024, we were only learning how to, talk to machines. We're being introduced to the whole idea of artificial intelligence, getting to know more about it. Last year, 2025, we were interacting with artificial intelligence. But we see now that in 2026, it is mind blowing the kind of things that artificial intelligence can do. I mean, I think in this year alone, I've seen, when AI newly came out, certain people were warning of the dark side to AI, like so to say. But in this year, 2026, I'm seeing that people can literally take your picture and make a video out of your picture, like, and it will seem like, deep fake and all of that. It will seem like you are the one actually talking, whereas it's artificial intelligence. So what I'm here to tell us tonight, or what I'm here um to what's the word now? Well, I'm just here to tell you tonight to integrate artificial intelligence into what you are doing. So the five skills we're going to be considering tonight. Number one, we are looking at content strategy, what you might know as content creation or being a content creator. But we are not looking at content creation in the aspect of setting up your camera and dancing, creating TikTok videos, TikTok videos and reels. We're not talking about that aspect of content creation, because when you say content creation, that's what most people in Nigeria think of as content creation. Setting up cameras and recording videos, recording their daily lives and all of that, and posting online. Well, that is content creation. In the business aspect, so to say, for you who wants to learn a skill or level up your skill, content creation, we are considering it tonight from the angle of B2B. That's the business to business aspect of content creation. And as you can see on my screen, I have here AI powered content strategy. So you are moving beyond just the regular, oh, I'm a content creator, or you're moving beyond having content creation as a skill to AI powered content strategy. And by content creation, I mean, for example, you are a writer, you are able to integrate storytelling into the kind of copies that you create. You are able to write compelling copies or content that is able to connect with the audience of a particular business. Because when a business reaches out to you asking for your services as a content creator or as a writer, they are not just seeking for your ability to just write, scribble a couple of words and that's all. There's something that drives the writing. That's the passion, the empathy, your ability to connect with their audience. And not just stop that, to also create compelling copies that is able to persuade your audience or persuade their audience, persuade the audience to take certain steps, especially towards sales. So we are looking at the AI powered content strategy. That is the human hybrid model. And here we are looking at, you are moving from being a content producer to becoming a content architect, in the sense that you are able to, you move beyond just writing a couple of words to sitting down to strategically think about, have a proper understanding of the brand you are writing for or the brand you are representing, have a proper understanding of their target audience, have a proper understanding of their industry and their business as a whole, and then sitting down with AI. Remember that we are saying AI powered content strategy, right? So once you're able to sit down, brainstorm and all of that, you then sit down with artificial intelligence, maybe your chat GPT, maybe your Gemini, maybe your Claude AI, whatever it is whatever AI tool that works best for you, you sit down and then you brainstorm with artificial intelligence. And we see here that, the market is saturated, is currently saturated with a lot of artificial intelligence content, like a lot of, artificial AI generated content and all of that. It almost seems too technical, too mechanical, and all of that. Sorry, I'm spending a lot of time here, but we'll be moving on quickly from here. So yeah, there's a lot of AI generated content online, but the issue is not, and a lot of people are getting bored from those kind of content. Like my CEO would say, once she sees a lot of dashes in a copy, once she sees a lot of dashes in an article, she already knows that it is AI generated. But here's the catch now, for those of you that might be considering content creation in the aspect of B2B writing, copywriting, content writing, basically writing for business. If you are considering this aspect now, the issue is not necessarily with creating AI generated content. The issue is that artificial intelligence is artificial for a reason. So it lacks empathy. It's not able to view life or interpret certain scenarios from the aspect of a human being. All it does is garbage in, garbage out. So that's where you now come in as as an AI powered content strategist. Now you are able to sit down and to build strategy, just brainstorm, and then give AI everything that's, your whole thoughts, as raw as it is in your mind, you're able to give it to artificial, give it to AI, and then it's able to now transmit all of that into the perfect copy that you are looking for. So that way you have the perfect copy that the market needs, backed up by human empathy, the ability to appeal to whoever it is that comes in contact with your with your content, basically. So we are going to look at the monetization, how to monetize this skill now. So you're a content creator. I remember that I am hammering on the aspect of being a content writer or a copywriter. So how to monetize this skill that you have, or this skill that you want to learn. So you can monetize by becoming a B2B um content specialist. B2B content specialist. You can monetize by being that, or you can monetize by being a brand voice consultant. That means you can either charge premium rates to companies for writing long form white papers or case studies, or whatever it is that they are asking of you. You can either specialize in that aspect, or you become a brand voice consultant. That means you do a thorough background check or a research on the company. You understand what they are all about, what drives them, what takes them, their vision, their mission. You have a proper understanding of all of that. Then you use, let me use ChatGPT for example. You use ChatGPT to help you have a proper understanding of the company, and then craft tailored materials that are fit for that are specific to this brand, specific to their industry, and specific to their target audience. So that's where you are not just a content writer, a content creator, but you are a creator who is able to leverage AI and to make more money using it. Yes, so the next skill that we have here, let me just read what I wrote here. It says AI can write, but it cannot relate. So that's all I've said in a nutshell. AI can create content, but it cannot relate to the human beings. You have to be the one now to put in that human factor into artificial intelligence. So moving on to the next skill, that so if I was going to talk basically now, I would say the next skill is virtual assistance. But then again, anybody can just be a virtual assistant. So what would make you stand out as a virtual assistant is when you possess the no code operations and automation skill. That means you are moving from being a for the lack of a better word, you are moving from being a basic virtual assistant to a systems architect. That means you are also able to use artificial intelligence. You are able to use artificial intelligence as well to make to what's the word now, to automate your work and to make operations easier for you and your clients as well. And the no code operations, or basically no code tools, they are the tools like Zapier that you use instead of, let me give a basic example now, using Ivory Lane as a case study. So during our stand-up calls every working day morning, every work day morning rather, at the end of every call, we all receive in our emails summary of minutes of the meeting from Firefly's AI. And that has made, this is an AI app now that has made work easier for the virtual assistant. So instead of just sitting down, having to use paper and pen or use your phone to record minutes of the meeting as it's ongoing, or trying to catch up with, oh, what did this person say, what did Oga say, trying to do all of that. When you are able to incorporate AI tools like Zapier or Fireflies into your work, it's able to just help you record the meeting and basically make life easier for you. And by mastering no code tools like Zapier, there are others like Make, Airtable, and all of that. You transition from just being a basic tax doer. just executing tasks manually and all of that, and you become a systems architect. And that means this gives you the courage as a virtual assistant now to walk up to any small business at all and say, hey, I can automate your lead generation, your client onboarding, or your data entry, so that they don't have to use manually enter data into Excel sheets and all of that. I mean, you can see my screen right now, and what I have here is a PowerPoint presentation. And it will amaze you to know that all I had to do to create this was to basically upload my notes to Gamma AI, and it's created every single thing that you are seeing on my screen. So these are the kind of things that you can achieve being not just a regular virtual assistant, but an AI powered virtual assistant. For the sake of time, I just want to run through. Then the third skill, Okay, so yes, how to monetize as a virtual assistant. You can either offer operations as a service. That's by setting up monthly retainers to manage and optimize a company's internal workflows. And as a virtual assistant, you don't necessarily have to work with a company. You can also work with individuals, maybe business people who just want personal personal assistance and all of that. So instead of having to manually set up, after giving you their schedules and all of that, instead of manually using maybe your Excel sheets, for example, or using your basic Google Docs and all of that, there are helpful tools that you can use, AI tools that would not only help you draft everything you need to follow up on, but will also help you become an effective virtual assistant to whoever it is you're providing your services to. So you can offer your services as operations as a service. What they call it is ops as a service, or automation audits. So you can offer to, just if you don't want to go full time, you can offer to what's the word now, consult. Yes, you can offer to consult a business or a client's itinerary or schedule and all of that. Just offer to audit it for them at whatever price or whatever fee that you place. So moving on to the third skill for tonight, we have data driven social media marketing. So if you notice, it's still the regular skills, in quotes, the regular skills that you might know, but there's a but to it. So you are not just stopping at what you know, but you're taking it a step further, because you do not want AI to replace you. So if you remain on the basic level, guess what? Whatever it is you are doing, if you are a graphics designer who isn't offering beyond what someone can just carry their laptop and sit down, and one artificial intelligence just gives them exactly what you can do. If you are not giving value beyond AI, or using AI to give better value, then guess what? AI is going to take your job, and we do not want that for you or for anyone. So the third skill tonight that we are considering is data-driven social media marketing. So you are not just a regular social media marketer. And for those that joined the 1 week training we had on social media and graphics about 2 3 weeks ago, one of the things that we emphasized was that social media management is beyond posting fancy pictures, graphics, videos, and all of that. It's beyond all of that. As a social media marketer, your target is different from a regular social media user. I came across a post about 2 days ago, and the lady was, she in a few words, she rightly said that, as a business, there's a difference between a business using social media, or a business person using social media, and an individual using social media. For an individual who is just using social media for whatever it is that you use social media for, you are driven by, the likes, the comments, the engagement, all those kind of things. But for a business, those things are good, but they are not the important things. At the end of the day, what a business really, really wants from their social media efforts, all the postings, all the engagement and all of that, what they truly want at the end of the day is to make sales. So if as a social media marketer or as a social media manager, you know, you are not helping the brand or the business or the company or whatever it is, whatever page you are managing, if you are not helping them meet their targets at the end of the day, then you are doing something wrong. And it doesn't just stop at, social media marketing. That means you are able to brainstorm, think of strategies that can fly, strategies that can relate with the audience. So whatever content it is that you create or you craft, it should be tailored specifically to speak directly to the audience. And every content or every post at the end of the day must contain a call to action button, which should be able to drive or persuade whoever it is that is watching or interacting with your content to be able to make the desired move the desired move that you want them to make, basically, or the business wants them to make, basically. So that means this goes beyond, you are not just thinking of, oh, nice fonts to use or nice images and all of that. At the end of the day, you are running A/B test on every headline, on every content that you do. And what do I mean by that? The A/B testing strategy now, it basically means you post two similar posts, or maybe the same post twice, or two similar posts, and then you observe which one which one has better engagement, which one resonates more with the target audience. You observe all these kind of things, and then you go with the one. By the time you observe that maybe A has higher engagement compared to B, or maybe B has higher conversion tendencies compared to A, then you now decide, oh, okay, it seems like post A or post B, depending on the one that performs higher, is striking a chord with the audience, is passing a message across to the audience. This can just help the business meet its bottom line targets and all of that. So what that information basically helps you achieve as a social media manager or a social media marketer is being able to follow up on whatever leads that you have until the desired goal is achieved or reached. And you can only do this by using, I don't want to say artificial intelligence now, but where AI would come in is to, help you understand the brand voice and probably give you an idea of the kind of content that would fly for the brand. But as a social media marketer, you must be able to um, master ROI and visual analytics, return on investments. You should be able to master it. That means if we are putting out this much, or maybe spending so amount in marketing, what's the return on investment? Because if you spend 10,000 naira on marketing, for example, now you should, the goal is not to just reach maybe 100,000 people. Maybe your 10,000 naira is able to give you visibility to 100,000 people or 50,000 people. The likes, not yeah, the engagements are high and all of that. But at the end of the day, what you are really looking at is this 10,000 naira that I invested in marketing. What is the return on the investment? How many leads do you have? How many people visited the website? How many people tapped on how many people put maybe the products or whatever in their carts or abandoned carts and all of that. So you should be able to get, okay, for this is me going ahead of myself, but so coming back to the whole social media marketing, basically you should be able to use social media marketing tools. Thankfully, Meta has provided their ads manager or their business suite, where businesses, you as a social media marketer now or a social media manager, you can use those tools to check the feedback system, to check the metrics, the analytics and all of that of the brand you are representing. TikTok also has that. In fact, every social media platform as it is, they all have their analytics, which would help you understand, okay, what kind of content resonates more with the clients, with the target audience basically, and how can we leverage that, how can we close sales on that. So how you can monetize this skill, how you can monetize this skill. Number one, you can either become a consultant. You offer to audit people's pages. You offer, yeah, become a consultant. I think there's something for those of you that know Adeife. Adeife, she's a brand voice and an influencer, and yeah, she's doing well for herself in the aspect of remote work and digital skills as well. There was something she recently started doing, auditing people's pages. So if maybe you have a concern that your social media page is not performing as you want it to do, particularly for small business owners that are not making as much sales as they hope to make, and they just feel maybe there's something wrong with their content and all of that. So what she does is that she helps you audit your page. Oh, okay, your brand is this. Like there was one I saw, one audit that she did for a page. She listed out about six different things that the person was doing. Jack of all trades, you are a this, you are a that, you are a this, you are a that. So at the end of the day, there are just too many things going on your page. So people cannot pinpoint this particular thing that, oh, this is what you are doing. This is, maybe you sell shoes now. Then you are also a voiceover artist. You are also a graphics designer and all of that. You know, you have so many amazing things going on for you at the same time, but people do not know you with that one thing. Like, so I'm just giving a basic interpretation of the page audit. So at the end of the day, after going back and forth, they reached a resolution, and she was able to profile her professional, or rather offer her professional um, insights based on what she had seen about the page. And of course, I don't know how the page is performing now. So I'm just trying to say that you can offer your services as a consultant, offer to audit business pages. That's if you do not want to manage their pages for them as a social media marketer or a social media manager. You can consult for them and charge them on whatever, based on your research, based on your experience, charge them for your fees. Or you can outrightly apply for, become a social media marketing or a social media manager, strategy lead. So you can apply for job roles. There are a lot of job roles for social media managers, social media marketers. There are a lot of them on remote work websites and all of that. So you can opt for that. And peradventure, if you do not yet have, now I'm speaking to those that have the skills already. If you do not have the skill yet and you are interested in learning the skill, then I strongly suggest that you first learn the skill. You take up a course. The good thing is that Ivory Learn has a build up of all these digital courses that you can learn, pay for and learn. So pick up the skill, learn the skill, and the next thing that you want to do is to build a portfolio, have a portfolio of, something that people can always refer back to. Or yeah, so you can either do that by either volunteering your services for free. You can, if you're a Christian, you can offer to either audit or become a social media manager for your church page, or if you have a small business or local businesses in your area and all of that, you can offer to just help them to just get your hands busy basically, so that you can build, what's the word now, so basically you can build authority in that aspect as well. Then the next thing, the fourth skill that we're going to be looking at now, is community operations and social commerce, what you might know as a community manager. And I'm using these different titles so that in your CV now, you're not just writing, oh, I'm a community manager, but by the time you write community operations specialist or community operations and social commerce specialist, it gives more, for the lack of a better word, it gives more efficacy to like more prestige, to what it is that you do. And the core shift now is that you're shifting your focus from broad audiences to closer communities. Because if you pay close attention to how communities or how certain businesses might work in Nigeria, is that especially if you run your business online, social media, and all of that, sometimes you'd realize that at the end of the day, you might have amazing content and all of that, but you still find people in your DMs asking you, are you a scammer? I think that's a very, very interesting question to ask a business person in their DMs. Like, what do you expect the person to say? Yes, I am a scammer. So I just think it's not necessarily about wanting to ask funny questions. Is this a scam? Is this real? I mean, I put maybe I'm selling bone straight human hair now. I don't know how much those things cost, but I know there are some really nice human hairs that go for as high as 1.5 million, 2 million, and all of that. So maybe I put a really nice human hair on my business page, and then I say the price is 800,000 naira. And maybe someone saw the same hair on another vendor's page for 1.2 million. And then the person is wondering, why is it cheaper at my side? And the person comes to my DM, oh, this thing, I saw it somewhere else for a higher price. Are you sure it's real? Are you sure you are not a scam? So, like, the person wants to make purchase at the end of the day because they are going to be saving about 400,000 naira. The person really wants to make purchase at the end of the day, but they just really, really want to be sure that this person I'm buying from, hope they're not going to scam me of my hard-earned money. And you will not blame them. That's the most human thing to do when you are purchasing any product or service online. You want to confirm if these people are true. And for some other people, I don't know, it might be you, but sometimes what I do, I go a step further by looking for reviews, looking for communities. Okay, what are people saying about this particular product and all of that? So this is where having tight-knit communities come in. It takes people beyond people trust a brand more. People trust a brand, or yeah, people trust a brand or a company more when they belong to their communities. They are able to see that, okay, these people are legit at the end of the day. And it all depends on how you, the community manager now, or the community operations specialist, you are able to make them feel welcomed. So to bring it closer, bring it closer, imagine as a community operation strategist now. You're in charge of, you're a community manager in charge of brand A's WhatsApp community or Telegram community, and you are managing the people, you're managing a number of people of about 1,500 or even 2,000. I know Telegram takes that high. I don't know how much WhatsApp takes, but let's say you are managing a Telegram community of about 100,000 people. And the goal is not just to just have 100,000 people in brand A's Telegram group. The goal at the end of the day is that how can we keep these 100,000 people? How can we keep them okay? How can we keep the brand in their faces? And not just that, how can we move them from just being community members to being paying paying members, basically. So sorry, I'm losing my line of thoughts. Woo, okay. So at the end of the day, you as a community operations social commerce strategist, you are not just thinking of polls to keep the people engaged. You're not just thinking of interesting or topics, interesting topics to just keep people talking and all of that, to get them talking and all of that. Beyond all of that, there is a goal in mind. There is a goal in mind. And what's that goal in mind? To convert at least a percentage, a healthy percentage of your community into paying customers at the end of the day. So you now, as a community operations, a strategic community manager, you are able to look beyond the community or the numbers that you have gathered, the numbers that you have built, to see how you can help the brand that you are presenting to actually make sales from the community that they have. And of course, beyond all of that, it's necessary for brands to have communities that are closely knit together, communities that are able to speak out for the brand, communities that, of course, the numbers count. The numbers always count. So I think I've put everything in one. So the core shift is to shift your focus from, just having broad audiences to having a neat, tight community. Then the community architecture now is from building and moderating spaces on platforms like Discord Circle or special WhatsApp groups. I've already said that. Then social commerce integration, of course. So you are moving them from just being community members to actual paying members. And then, of course, you create rituals, not kanayo rituals now. You create routines on the group to keep the group buzzing and active. Because trust me, even if your goal is to make sales, if you say that your goal is to try and convert some of the percentage of the, at least a good percentage, a good number of the tribe members or the community members to paying customers and all of that, if the only time you pop up is to come and tell them, oh, these products, this service and all of that, they will lose interest. In fact, some of them might exit the group, some of them might mute the group, no engagement, no nothing. So strategy and wisdom you must combine strategy and wisdom to both have rituals or routines that keep the group buzzing as a reminder that, oh, because sometimes people really want to purchase your products. People really want to purchase your products, but sometimes the money is not readily at hand. But when they belong to your community and, when they pick up their phone, there's always a pop-up or a buzz from the community, it's active and all of that. The day they have money and the day they have, coincidentally, they have money, the money is available and the need for the service or product is available, they would go straight to where to make purchase, even without you making so much noise. So yes, moving on. Oh my God, please, if I'm not boring you out, please drop an emoji, so that I know that we are on the same page. Okay. Thank you for encouraging me. Yes. So the last skill that I want us to look at tonight before I hand over the mic to my bosses, specialized prompt engineering. Specialized prompt engineering. That's becoming a visual and technical asset creation, specialized prompt engineering. In simple words, what is prompt engineering? Many of you are familiar with ChatGPT, Gemini. Many of you are familiar with, or if you are not familiar with, video creation using Solara or VO3, using AI, all those nice TikTok videos, those meow meow TikTok videos that you like to watch, or those funny AI generated Nigerian tales that you like to watch on TikTok. Those are all products of prompt engineering. Those are all products of prompt engineering. Whatever it is that you use AI to do, and it gives you at least 99% accuracy of what it is that you hope to achieve. That is you being able to, or rather, that means that we have been able to master the art of prompt engineering. And if you do not know, prompt engineers are cashing out big time. We're having a conversation a few days ago. I'm coming back to what we're talking about, but I just want to, give you background, a little gist of all of this. So we're having a conversation a few days ago about all of this, and someone said, for me, I know how to prompt images. I know how to prompt images that will give me 98% or 99%. Is AI. Sometimes you can't get 100% of what you are looking for, but At least I know I've been able, I know I can do 95 to 99%. So we're just talking, just having a conversation with a group of people about how, two people, you give two people a task to do, to prompt AI for maybe image generation, and one comes out almost flawless and the other one comes out like waiting with this, like two people, the same task, the same tool, but different results. So what's the issue? And someone joked and said that it's people that have poor communication skills that do not know how to prompt AI, because it is garbage in, garbage out. Whatever it is that you tell AI, that's exactly what you are going to get. So at the end of the day, this group of people that they say, oh, the teacher failed me, the teacher gave me this. When they fail you, they say the teacher gave me this, but when they pass, they'll say I got A. But when they fail, they'll say the teacher gave me F. So it's like that. Like when you wrongly prompt AI and it gives you what you prompted, you are like, this AI self, like it doesn't know what it's doing and all of that. But someone else now who has the right communication skills, who is able to think deeply and to describe every single detail of what they want to achieve, and they feed it into AI, you find out that in such scenarios, the result of the prompt always comes out almost perfect. Almost perfect. I don't want to use the word perfect, but almost perfect. Now the shift is that becoming an AI, specialized prompt engineer for AI, so many companies, that's for you're able to use AI for video production, you're able to use AI for advanced image control, you are able to use AI for technical prompting. And the truth is that so many brands now, so many businesses, even major brands, when certain ads pop up on YouTube, and you see this is a big brand, you see a big brand using AI to run their ads, instead of having to use an advertising company, use real human beings to act, to do this one, oh, take this, take that. So many big brands now are using AI to create their videos and to create their ads. So you now who comes in as a prompt engineering specialist, you coming in as that, you are not only saving a brand, a company, you're not just saving them hundreds of thousands of naira, what they would have hired, what they would have achieved by hiring a whole team, a whole production team. You as an individual, you can sit down with your laptop, with your VO3 and your internet connection, and you're brainstorming your ability to communicate, sorry, your prompt engineering abilities. You just sit down and you're able to create something mind-blowing for them. You have saved them hundreds of thousands, and you have also made hundreds of, maybe not hundreds of thousands, but compared to what they would have paid a whole production team to achieve, you would have saved them a whole lot as a brand. You would have saved them a whole lot as a brand. And to monetize this skill, you must become a digital asset creator. You must become a digital asset to any company it is that you are working for. So if this is something that interests you, maybe on a low key, you just like to, you go to your ChatGPT, you go to your Gemini, you go to your Cloud, you just like to sit down and prompt, play around with pictures and videos and all of that. Maybe you're picking up, you just do it as a hobby. I'm here to tell you tonight that you can make massive income from that hobby when you convert it into a proper skill, when you convert it into a proper skill. Because guess what? There are so many companies that are looking for prompt engineers out there. And the thing again is that, because someone else might be thinking, oh, prompt engineering, even AI can also do prompt engineering. It's true, but then again, this is where the human factor comes in, because AI is only going to prompt AI as artificial intelligence. There's still the human aspect that is missing. And if you are able to bridge that gap between human and artificial intelligence, then you're on your way to making mad income as an AI prompt engineering specialist. So as we wrap up the class tonight, Okay, yeah. So yeah, how to monetize? You can either become a digital asset creator, that's by selling high-end marketing packages, your videos or your images. You can either sell, or you become you yeah, or you seek out job opportunities or roles as an AI creative director. That means you guide brands. Maybe you don't have to create them yourself, but you guide brands on how to integrate AI into their creative department, how to use AI to create their videos. So you can consult for brands, or you can you can take the lead for the brands at the end of the day. So to wrap up, I just want you to remember one word tonight, and that is stacking. Remember that this is 2026, and for the lack of a better word, I want to say that feel free to become jack of all trades. That means whatever it is that your heart like, not jack of all trades now as being a generalist in everything, but having a lineup of all these skills, because you don't know which one would come in handy. And it's not just a matter of having a lineup of all these skills, of mastering all these skills, so that wherever at all it is, you can be able to fit in. For example, when I was introduced earlier, and I was introduced as a writer, and I have been doing content writing for as far back as 2016, up until last year, when I thought, the world is moving fast. Let me catch up. The next thing that I like to do is social media, video creation, playing around with AI. So that's the line I'm doing now. It doesn't stop me from being a content writer. It doesn't stop me from being a copywriter, but it's only adding to my backlog of skills, so that whenever a situation presents itself, my CV or my portfolio is rich enough to offer services in any of these areas. So I am not asking you to be a generalist, not necessarily a jack of all trades, but I'm just asking that whatever strengths, whatever skills, whatever interest that you are drawn towards in digital skills, in all that we have discussed tonight, I strongly suggest that you take advantage of it. And if you do not possess any of the skills yet, but would like to learn, the good news for you tonight is that Ivory Learn has a whole lineup of these skills that you can learn and upskill tonight. So once again, I have come to the end of my presentation, but I just want to leave you with my final word. The digital economy of 2026. It doesn't just reward generalists. It doesn't reward those who are afraid of the tools. It rewards those who are brave enough to use the tools that are available to you. So step out of your comfort zone tonight, and I'm rooting for you. Thank you. Thank you. Mrs. Faith, over to you, ma. Miss Amaka. Thank you.
Please, thank you. Can we jam our virtual hands for our facilitator? Amazing, amazing class, amazing session. Thank you very much, ma. I think this was very practical because somehow I know that maybe time did not permit, but if you search within, you can see that um every one of us has the ability to do at least one of these things that was mentioned today. So please take advantage of it. Find how you can turn your natural skills into income. And I think I'll just take it from here, and then I would have um Miss Luro and Amaka speak after me. And I just want to say that the I think in 2019 I had a conversation with Mrs. Glory that just took the class, and she told me about how she was making money on Fiverr. And I love to write. And by the help of God, I've authored books today. But I just liked to write at the time. And I just, I thought that that's all I needed. And so I registered on Fiverr. I did sample gigs and things like that. But nobody, not even one single soul contacted me. I started panicking. What is going on? Every day I'll go and refresh the page. I will change the price, reduce the price, do this, do that. Nobody contacted me. And then I decided to take some master classes, take some small courses here and there on writing, to just perfect my skill, because it's something that I had within me. But how could I monetize it so that it will start giving me tangible money? And I'll start hearing that, oh, I'm getting paid by foreign companies. I did that and I started to apply. I remember when I got an opportunity with somebody who lived outside the country. What he asked me for some form of portfolio I had written online before, not even publicly, for a private thing. And then he saw it and the writing was good enough. And that very day we had the interview, he hired me. And that was how I was able to land my first international um gig. But how was that possible? I had the skill of writing. I loved to write. I would always write long captions. I used to be one of those people on Instagram those days. I would write long captions and people would read because I knew how to tell stories and I had a lot of stories. But guess what? For the brands that were going to pay for my skill, I needed to perfect the skill. You can't just is one thing for you to hear that big brands are paying $1,000, but those big brands that are willing to give that money are waiting for value at the other end. And that is the reason why, at Ivoryland, we came up with a bundle course. It is a very simple, it is the easiest thing you can find on the internet as it relates to your skill right now. Right. So um we have that bundle. It's called the skill to income bundle. And what we're going to do with that bundle, what we're going to do for you is that we're just going to have a conversation with you and give you some clarity on how you need to perfect your skill so that you can stand a better chance to getting foreign gigs, to getting even national gigs, because there are many brands in Nigeria that people don't know pay very well. So we have that. But that's my very short story about how my skill was present with me, but I had to develop it and I had to, you know, go for some classes and see how I could make it better. And then it was when it became better, I was able to start getting properly paid for that same skill. Right. So yes, that's what I want to just add to everything that Mrs. Glory said today. But I know that we're very thoroughly and richly, educated, let me say. And education is very important at every point. Nobody knows it all. So at every point, go for more knowledge, go for more information. But I'll be calling on Luro right now. Is Luro on this call?
Hello,
Is
good evening.
Luro
Sam here, ma.
okay? Okay, over
Okay,
to
all
you,
right.
Luro.
Thank you very much, ma. Good evening, everyone. My name is Lira Adetitsu. I'm the community lead for Ivy Lane and also a virtual assistant. Now, like Mrs. Glory has rightly said, right, you can have a lot of skills, but just pick one that you are focusing on. That's what I would advise. Being a remote worker myself, I have so many skills. Like because with time I was just testing my hand on what is going to work. Today I heard that they are doing social media manager. I logged in. I heard that it's customer service representative. I logged in. I heard that it was at the point I was doing content creation. At a point, manager. But the thing is, I was getting these skills, but I was not making money. Like I was not getting nothing. I was not getting nothing. And the thing was, when I was learning these skills, I was still going to for my 9 to 5 job. Now my 9 to 5 job was weighing me down. The fact that I've learned these skills, but I'm not getting people to hire me, I'm not getting money from it, was weighing me down. It was a lot at that period, to be sincere. So what I did was, at first, I just had to like pick one out of the skills that I have, and I had to go for virtual assistant. Then I picked my virtual assistant skill because I had learned my virtual assistant from ALX, and I now noticed that when I'm seeing people talking about virtual assistant online, the things I learned at ALS is looking like child's play. Though they are good, but is it looking as if I don't have some of these skills? You know, like Mrs. Glory rightly said, is there's a difference between you being just a virtual assistant and a difference between you being an automation specialist, or someone that can automate systems, or someone that can create a workflow for an organization using all of these tools. I was like, oh God, I cannot deal, because now I've not even started making money and people are already ahead of me. That's how I went. I went to upskill my virtual assistant. I learned this automation and all. Now, why am I saying this? If you've learned before, whatever you've learned, just know that whatever line that you are in, be it maybe you are a virtual assistant, a social media manager, even if you are a tech bro or tech sis, you must always try to meet up with trend, what is going on in your industry. That is just it. You just have to meet up with the trend, learn more. You see, learning does not end. My dad, there's something my dad used to say. My dad used to say that you stop learning when you die. That is when you stop learning. If you are still alive and you said that you don't want to learn again, just know that everybody will leave you behind. And at the end, had I know, that's all you'll be saying. Oh, had I know I could have learned this, or had I know I could have done better. And which will not be any of our case. And also, to be okay, then I left my 9 to 5 job. I was like, I'm going to like face remote squarely. The fact is that when I left my 9 to 5 job, I got a remote job that was just paying me 30,000 naira as an intern. But I had to take it up. Do you know why I took it up? Because I felt that that is just like a starting point for me. If I don't take that job up, I might not want to leave my 9 to 5, and I will sit there in my comfort zone and not move out of, because one, I was not even finding my 9 to 5 job interesting any longer. I was feeling always tired, always bored and all. And now, to God be the glory, I know how much I'm earning from working remotely. I know how much I'm earning. If not almost, let me don't even call the price, because me as a person, I can really testify that working remotely has really, really, really kind of changed my life. Even the way I look at things compared to when I was always going in to for a 9 to 5 job. And I think I'm going to stop here for now. Like I'll just leave you guys by saying, even if you have so many skills, pick one. Like for me, if you go to my page on Instagram, you see me. The only thing I talk about on my page is virtual assistant. Not that I don't have other skills. I have other skills that I'm currently making money from, but I just don't put that out. But whenever I see a job opportunity that is along that line, I put in. I know when I got my first international job, it was on WhatsApp. I just saw a mutual that posted something about a job. I just saw it and I went to the person's DM that, is this job still available? I have the skill. The person was shocked that you have the skills. I said yes. He said, send me your CV, send me your portfolio. Unfortunately for me, I don't even have my portfolio then. All I have to do was I sent him my CV and then I pitched myself. I left him voice notes so that he will know that, oh, truly, I know how to do that thing. That's how I got hired in my first international job. Then after that, I quickly went and start putting my portfolio together, because if you want to work internationally or even locally, you must have a portfolio. That portfolio is a sample of work you've done. So with this note, I'll just leave us by saying, one, learn a skill. And if you have a skill already, upskill. After that, pick a niche, just one niche, focus on it till it start paying you. Then you cannot go and start focusing on another one. And the last thing I'm going to say, try to make yourself visible online. Online, that's where the money is. Make yourself visible. I know how many clients that have reached out to me because they saw a post on my social media, and they reached out to me, and I did a freelancing job for them. I did a contract job with them, and I collect my money. So that's what I'm going to say. Thank you very much, Mr. Maka. I'll be handing over to you.
All right, thank you, Lulu. Okay, so I'm not going to overflow on what has already been said. You have heard Mrs. Faith, you have heard Lulu. I would just start by giving off myself as an example. I started off somewhere in social media management, moved up digital marketing, moved up to UI UX, switched to product design. Along that line, I switched to project management. I did AI automation, and I'm fully switching into operations. Why is this happening for me? It's because I'm going into management, and that's where I'm heading to. Now, one thing I would like you to know is that social media will pay you. The online space will pay you. Getting a job right now is far easier than it was to get a job in 2014, 2013.
Reason being that we are now being exposed to a technological age, meaning that, just like Luro said, leave your footprint on the internet. It becomes easy for them to find you. The first job I got as a designer that paid me about 500,000, I found it on Twitter. And it was very funny because somebody made a post. I redesigned and just sent it. Joking, I was playing because in my head I was like, this design did not go well. Let me just do it. And then I did it and I sent it. And the person sent me a DM and we started talking. And even when they said, okay, send me the invoice, in my head I was like, let me put 200. Well, I talked to a friend and he said, put 500, let's see what happened. And I sent it and he paid me. And I was like, and that was it. Now, it's this to say that I was already making money from social media management. I was already making money from digital marketing because I ran Google Ads and all of that. I was already making money from even teaching other people digital marketing. So it's not like it's heresy. But what we are saying is that you have all of these skills, and like Glory said, learn as much as possible. I learn as much as I see. I have no business with AI automation, but I learned AI automation this year. I learned it from January to March. I did N8 and a couple others, but that was just me. Because for me, it's ever a game of upskilling. If I'm going to be in any space, I better beat the people that are already existing in that space so that I get what I want from the market. But that is just it. So the idea is upskill and upskill and upskill. But then it will now bring me to this. Did I know that my trajectory was going to be this way? I'll tell you no. Before I went fully at first into product management, I was everywhere. I knew every skill, but what I didn't understand was how to connect it. And that's why there's a particular bundle we have at Ivory Land, the skill to income bundle. I had so much knowledge and I was making money, but I wasn't making the constant figure I needed to make. And so what I did then was I spoke to someone, I spoke to a mentor, and then she said something. She said, list out your skills and make align it up. It was at that point I realized that everything I have picked up, every skill I had picked up, were one way or the other connected. And then it now made it easier for me to choose which skill am I going to monetize as a full-time 9 to 5, which skill am I going to do remotely, and which skill am I going to run as consultation service. So you see that from everything I just listed, I brought out 3 services, and that's what I'm working with right now at the moment. And I don't have any issues because in all of this, nobody is clashing with anybody. Everybody is playing out their roles successfully, and then we're making the money off the internet. So that being said, if you're someone that has quite a couple of skills and you're not sure about, okay, which one am I going to work with, which one am I going to use, or which one am I going to fully own, because like Glory said, AI is here to stay. Take it or leave it. You would be replaced if you don't know how to work with it. It's just what's going to happen. I think in our parents' time, if you don't know how to use typewriter, they'll pursue you from the job. So it's just the same thing. If you don't know how to use AI, you'll be replaced. So you have to find a way to work with it. So that being said, it then invariably means that you can go and pick up our skill to income bundle and have a look at it. And then let's help you here. What we're going to do for you with that particular bundle is majorly to help you identify your current skill sets. We identify from your strongest to your weakest, and then we then tell you how best to use it and own your skill. We're ready to be with you throughout that journey. So it's not something you're going to be alone. It's something that if you're part of the Ivy Lane community, one thing you should also know is that we build based on community. So you are never alone. You would always get support from people in the community. You would always get support from our mentors. And then any help that we can provide whatsoever would also help you do that. And that is going to help you so much. So that is what I'm going to say. I believe that we have learnt enough and then we have heard so much. You're actually hearing people like Mrs. Faith, your instructor, Glory, Luro, and myself. So we're not saying that. What we're telling you here is that the internet money is real. What is left for you is to lock in and get it. But unless you identify how you're going to lock in, it then becomes very difficult to get what you want from the social from that space. Because if you heard Mrs. Faith talk, she had her skills, she had her page, but something just had to push to be that factor to push her out. So that's what we're going to help you do with this particular bundle. All you have to do is visit the Ivory Land page. The Ivory Land website. That's ivoryland.com. Then visit our programs. Under programs, you see bundle. Pick up that bundle, look at it, and ask yourself. The question you should ask yourself as you're about leaving this call is, what if I start today? Like, what if I start tonight? What if I start now? The thing about change is the earlier you start, the faster it is to achieve it. If you start today, where you'd be in the next 30 days will be different from when you start, as long as you're determined to make that change. So that is what I'll be posing to everyone on this call. Start today, build what you want today, and then know that for if I start now, between now and the next quarter, I want to turn back and look at what has happened so far and be proud of where I have come and what I have achieved at this point. So, like I said, you can visit ivoryland.com, go to the bundles page and have a look at the skill to job bundle. Read everything, you see what we're offering you. And I want to promise you one thing. If you take up that bundle, you won't regret it, because if I hadn't had to sit and listen to my mentor speak, in my mind, I would never had made that connection as at 2024. I would just be where I am. But I had that particular discussion 2023 December, and by January 2024, I just knew the trajectory of where I was going to, and that was what has kept me from there to now. And if I choose to say, oh, I want to go back and do social media management, I can still do it. I still do it. It's more or less it's inbuilt, so I can still do a lot of things because I've already learned the skills, I've already acquired it, and I'm still upskilling. So it's just how the world works. It's how this generation work, and there's money on the internet. You just know how to pick it. So with that being said, if you have any questions, guys, you can go ahead to ask your questions. If there are no questions, I would like to say thank you so much for joining us. But first, let me hold on. If we have questions, please, you can put up your hand or you can drop them in the chat so that we'll pick it up before we close the session. Okay, so if there are no questions, I would like to say thank you so much, everyone, for joining this particular session. I hope you learned something or you picked up something from this particular session. And I hope to see you, not I hope, I will surely see you at the top. So remember, there's money on the internet, take it. And then you can always visit ivoryland.com. If you have any questions, the links will be dropped on the WhatsApp group that on all our WhatsApp channels. So you can always go there, pick up that list and go through it and sign up for this particular bundle. That being said, have a lovely evening, everyone. Okay, someone is not on the WhatsApp group. We can ever have the link drop here, or I would put a link to the website. So once you open up the website, you'll see join communities. Just click on that link and then you redirected back to our community, and then we can pick it up from there. So that Nerit, I just dropped the link to the website. I just dropped the link to the website, so you can just visit our website, pick up the link from there, and join our community from there. So it's simply, I have the link here in the chat, ivorylearn.com. Just click on it and it will take you to our website. So that being said, thank you guys for joining this call. I'll see you at the top. I'll see you in the WhatsApp group. Have a lovely evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man.
Thank you too. All right, so we have the link to join the WhatsApp chat, the WhatsApp group here in the chat. So guys, you can, thank you.